Hello, everyone. My name is Mehdi Medjaoui, and I'm here to present you a talk I especially did for this Gravitee IO conference, Gravitee Edge, APIs the next 10 years, and what will be enabled by APIs and how to prepare for it. A little bit about me. I'm the founder and chairman of apidays conferences, the main series of conferences on APIs. I'm also the CEO and founder of Olymp.legal, let's say a custom GPT for data protection lawyers and data protection officers. And I've been previously the founder of OAuth.io, an API identity platform that has been acquired in 2017. I also teach at business schools about the programmable economy and how APIs are actually enabling new ways to do business in marketplace, platforms, or ecosystem orchestrations. You can follow me on Twitter or x.com at Medjaoui, Medjawii, and a little bit about my latest publications. So I'm the co-author of 2 books, Continuous API Management version 1 and the revised edition, who was published last year. Also about 2 reports, about one for the European Commission about APIs for government, and one other report about GDPR data portability, how we can really transfer data without APIs. I'm also the author of the API landscape, the state of the market of the API industry, where some of my talks will be inspired from. Last but not least, I designed the industry landscape, the 1,500 tools and API tools that you should know as an API program manager to run your API lifecycle management, where actually you will see a lot of Gravitee, stickers and logos in many places of the landscape. And actually, in this report, if you check on the report on the 1,500 API tools, you will be able to discover latest trends, like why we have more open source API management tooling stack, complementary to traditional API management stack, and Gravitee is one example of this open source API management tooling. Why API security and privacy, like PII compliance is more important than ever, especially at the API level, checking if there is personal data or if your API can deliver data in this region of the world, and being able to filter or not the data. Why event-driven architecture in real time is key, with more and more customer demand about like more real-time applications. So you need more real-time APIs and streaming APIs. And other trend, more business-oriented, like no-code and low-code. How more companies now are enabling to build API and publish APIs into no-code ecosystems so business people can actually leverage them. How, of course, artificial intelligence and large language models, APIs are completely disrupting the game, enabling companies to now how they can consume AI, but also how they can publish into AI models and mix their data with the data of AI models to actually be present and be there. Last but not least, API monetization. We will see more and more tools enabling API monetization, more fine-tuned API monetization, and API IT sustainability, how we can have lower carbon footprint with the publishing of APIs and reusability of software. You can see that in the API landscape state of the market on apidays website. But to start this talk, the API the next 10 years, I just wanted to share this picture I really love about the supply chain industry, and to remind us what happened the last 100 years. In the last 100 years, in the classic manufacturing industry, many car manufacturers have been delegating most of the work to other part of the ecosystem. So now they have hundreds of suppliers who everyone build some pieces of the car, and their main goal now is to mostly design the car before it's built, assemble the car, and deliver the car to the customer. So we estimate that 80% of the value of a car is before the car is built and after the car is built. Only 20% really about the manufacturing. So the main value now, because of the structured ecosystem, is to think about the car design and orchestrate and deliver. So you can see the complete comparison with APIs now. More and more APIs out there from companies, from startups. So now the main goal of building an application is knowing what you want to do, knowing your customer, knowing your assets, but orchestrating with other APIs existing on the market and consuming many APIs and orchestrating them all together. So I think this is what happened in the last 100 years in the car industry will happen in the next 10 years, just in the SaaS and API industry. So I made like 6 predictions based on the landscape and based on the trends, is that Fortune 1000 companies will have more APIs than employees. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because more and more software will be productized to be reusable as a standalone service with self-service interface. And especially with the appearance of artificial intelligence, you will have above the API jobs and below the API jobs. And depending on the software intelligence, you have a human orchestrating software, right? But at some point, when the software is more and more intelligent, then the humans will have below the API jobs. So they will be serving the software, or they will be serving the data of the software, or verifying the software data or the software accuracy, but they will be at the service of the software, like exactly what we've known like machines. At one point, humans were building, crafting whatever material, but then machine came and then humans were there to feed the machine, right? So we'll have more and more than that because of this software intelligence. And in 2025, the AI LLM APIs that will be available in the market, especially ChatGPT, and with their recent announcement, will really change and perturb the things for companies. So more and more software will be more and more intelligent, more and more self-service, and delivering more value. So these APIs will be a standalone value creation pattern, like for tasks or for processes. And so the number of humans above the API will lower. So this is why I think at some point companies will have more APIs, more standalone services valuable than employees, because most of the tasks, more of the processes will be handled by software. And you can see really, I love this map from Marshall von Alstein. You have the software and the people aspect, and you have the internal and the external. So your internal software is your internal APIs, right? And your internal people are your employees. But your external software are your public APIs, and your external people are your resellers, your crowds, your contractors. So you can really think about it for a company, but with more and more software and more powerful software, at some point, the internal APIs will be large, the public APIs will be large too, and we will have more APIs than employees. My second prediction is that selling to machines or selling to bots via APIs will be more rewarding than selling to humans via UI. Why I'm saying that? You may have known about all these recent topics. Like we will go after that in a minute. But just to see, first, it's already rewarding to sell to humans. So this is this study from Marshall von Alstein, who shows that over the last 10 years, revenues of companies who have strong B2C or B2B APIs can go up to 60% more, versus others. And again, it's for publicly traded companies, so it's really important. It's not just like small companies or startups, it's for publicly traded companies. You can see the cost of company investing in internal APIs can be reduced by 22%, the operating cost. But then the net income can go up to 38%. So that's really huge. Selling to humans by APIs or other business is already rewarding for companies who have the right strategy. Of course, it has some hack risks. Companies who have more APIs have 30% more chance to be hacked. But that's the other side of the coin about publishing APIs. But selling to bots will be the next generation. You may have tried to have a PlayStation 5 for a month. No, they were bought by bots. Bots were buying automatically PlayStation 5. So that was and reselling this on the black market or on Craigslist or on whatever platform. So selling to bots, actually, even Sony didn't try to sell to bots bought the PlayStation 5. So you need APIs, you need to understand this programmable e-commerce, right? Selling to bots that have triggers, that have automated decision making about buying decisions. There is other example now, AI generated books on Amazon. So Amazon just reduced the ability to write only 3 books per day. Because of the generative AI, so many books are actually generated by AI, and because they are sometimes cheap and sometimes they have strong marketing strategy, they can become an Amazon bestseller, which doesn't make any sense. And some authors are writing more than 3 books a day, And so Amazon has faced this problem. But again, bots may publish books that they want to sell, and may other bots wants to buy it. There is also another story about how a book about flies came to be priced 24 million in Amazon. It was because of two bots, right? It was because of two bots. The story, we had two bots. We had ProofNet and Book. So that was two bots, and every bot was actually trying to buy. Actually, ProofNet was a bot that was trying to sell at 99.8% of the average market price. So you take a book, ProofNet makes the average of all the books available on Amazon and sell at 99.8% of the book. Book doesn't own the book, but he will order the book from ProofNet to sell to the customer, but he sell at 1.27 times the price of ProofNet. So ProofNet has the book, will sell at 99.8% of the market just to be a little bit cheaper, but Book will sell it 1.27 more, or 127% of the ProofNet price, because if he find a customer, he will order it from ProofNet and sell it. But you see, the problem is that every time ProofNet will update his price, Book will also update the price. That will change the average. So ProofNet will increase, that will change the average, and it goes over and over. So this is an example here when the book was only at 1.7 million, because the researchers found it maybe late, but you can see at every day how the price increase to reach 24 million. Why? Because Book and ProofNet is a bot selling at an average price of the market, and Book is a bot who try to find customers, but then buy the book from the others and sell it. So this was a bot competition there, and a great story actually. So yeah, and because we didn't understand why book on flies could be put on at a $24 million price tag. That's for the story. Also in France, you don't see, maybe for people who don't understand French, but for example, many government meetings, to get your at the immigration was actually bought by bots and resold on the black market. So for months, it was been impossible for any foreigner to get an official meeting, because you had to sign up, you had to go online and try to get a meeting, but every time a meeting was available, bots were buying it and reselling on the black market. So if you don't understand that bots will be the next generation of buyers, you will be hacked by bots, and actually they will whatever, so be prepared. A third decision is that there will be a designated chief API officer at Fortune 1000 companies. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because of Marshall McLuhan. He's a journalist who said in the 60s, the medium is the message. He also said the tool, like, we shape our tools and our tools shape us. Why? Because the API mindset, the fact that now everything can be API driven, the fact that API enable large-scale reusability, large-scale agility, or large-scale market outreach, is a mindset that in a company, everyone now should open API, publish API for their colleagues or for the market. So it's a complete mindset. And because it's a big mindset change, you may need someone actually to be in charge of this mindset change and at the chief level. So this was, I put this idea of a chief API officer, because it's not the best who wins. It's the one everybody consumes. So sometimes you may win a deal because you have a great API, you're easier to consume, the integration will happen in a few hours or few days versus few months versus another one. And so the fact it's made by an API, the fact it's enabled by an API or it's available by an API will be a lot more better than the fact that it's a better product or better services, but that you will take months to integrate because it's our old web services, for example. So the API aspect is really this mindset change, and I think we will have a chief API officer to drive this change, to really drive this change in organization. And actually, if you don't believe me, I got an invitation of a chief API officer at the BNP Paribas, which is a French bank. So yeah, it's actually starting. To occur. Another prediction is that 99% of digital partnership and integration will be self-service via API portals. of course, we have bots. We will have more and more intelligent software. So we will have intelligent software that will discover your APIs, read your docs, because AI reads the doc, and will consume your software via your developer portal. And actually, that will be key, because this is an example of all your different channels. Like you may have mobile channels, web channels, and then partner channels, third-party channels, like partner integration, connected device, e-commerce integrations, whatever, finance integrations, whatever. But the long tail is really significant in terms of community traffic, but it was costly to address. At some point, an opportunity is valuable unless it costs less to address. And so with APIs, and with more intelligent software, more opportunities will be possible, more integration will be possible. You will be able to integrate your APIs into more and more marketplaces, or embed your APIs into more platforms. So what will happen is that with more and more channels that you can address, actually, your traffic may come more from these third-party partners versus your traditional channels. And this is why it's important to have an API that is available for integration, available for consumptions, with a developer portal that can really enable people to consume it, so they can distribute your value in their own channels. And at the end, make your company a lot more bigger than your traditional channels. It's the idea of open banking. It's the idea of open insurance. It's the idea of distribution, right, in the digital era. With an API, you can distribute more your services like that. And Expedia, for example, is a great example, where 90% of their revenues on partnership revenues comes from their APIs, 90%. So it's really huge. Another prediction enabled by that is that thanks to APIs and no-code, more than 50% of developers will be citizen developers, like non-technical people, no coders. And actually, there is a great issue, is that actually we lack of developers. We believe that we lack by 8 million developers by 2030, and so 4 million by 2025. And if we don't act now, the global talent shortage could result in approximately 8.5 trillion unrealized annual revenues by 2030. This is huge. And so this is why the goal is to enable IT capabilities to be delivered via APIs into no-code tools. So even business people will be able to use them to drag and drop, to use Visivik interface. What you see is what you get, but actually to build business applications based on internal APIs or external APIs. So this is key. And now, if you build your APIs for bots, if you build your APIs for self-service integration, you should also build your APIs to be productized into no-code tools, so even business people can actually build with your APIs there. And we will see that with AI and LLMs, it's even more important, because they will be able to build APIs helped by AI, to build application helped by AI. So your API needs to be in that ecosystem. One of the latest prediction, but not the least, of course, that LLM APIs and UIs will be the main reach channel for customers. It's extremely important to understand that ChatGPT has got 100 million users in 2 months versus, and you can compare to many other companies, right, who dare to reach their 100 million users. Yes, because this interface is crazy in terms of how it's useful and easy to work with. And so when sometimes you have 50 actions to build, when you have to search on something on Google, go on the website, click, log in, register, download an application, make many actions. Now with the LLM, you just say, okay, I want to do this. I want to buy your flight ticket for tomorrow to go in that country at the price below, I don't know, $1,000. If the integration are there, the LLM can completely do the whole thing, and you just do one action versus 50 actions compared to other systems. So this is why it's extremely key that your APIs are consumed by AI, so you exist in that ecosystem. If ChatGPT does not include your answers, you may not exist in a world where the next generation of interface are like that, are conversational. So if your APIs is not consumable by these, you will not exist. If you are a travel company and someone asks for travel and you're not in the results, you will not exist. You need your data and you need your services to be consumed by these new interfaces. This is why Google, for example, has launched Bard, or now a new generation of generative API application there. But of course, ChatGPT is one of them with a recent announcement on custom GPT and others. And last but not least, but because of APIs, developer will be the most influential stakeholder in B2B. So we will have more and more no-code people, business people to consume APIs. But then if you will want advanced integration, advanced application, developers will be these people that you will have to understand and promote your APIs to, because they will be the one promoting your APIs internally in their companies. So look, oh, we want to do that. I know great APIs is able to do that. Or between 2 or 3 different integrations, developers will be there to look, if we go with that company, they have better APIs, better documentation, more resilient services. These ones will have less likelihood of failure and more likelihood of success. So they will be extremely key in terms of influence inside organization about deciding and choosing the right thing to consume. There is a great book about that called Ask Your Developer by Jeff Lawson, which is a really great book. That states that yes, how Twilio has been successful, but because they were promoting the telecommunication as a service to developers, so developers can internally answer to the question, what next generation of telecommunication platform we should use? Is it this one, or Twilio? And because developers knew that Twilio was great on docs, great on products, developers were able to recommend Twilio most of the time. So yeah, ask your developer will be key, and so you need to be sure the developers of company know your APIs and know what you are delivering, because they will be the one prescribing it internally. That was for me about. I hope I helped you to understand what will happen in the next 10 years. Again, all of these findings are based on the research we do on 1,500 API tools and API landscape. And again, about in the API landscape, you will be able to see all the latest trends that are happening now to enable these predictions, like more open source API management, API security and privacy, new products, event-driven architecture in real time for streaming APIs, no-code and low-code, AI, monetization, and sustainability. And if you want to discover and browse the API landscape in an interactive version, you can go to apilandscape.apic.io to know more. Thank you very much. I hope you had a great moment. And again, I'm available for questions if you need. Bye.